Hello everyone, it's me Uncle John. Today I am going to read S66053 Dinosaur Detectives, Chapter 3. Miss Frizzle, Keisha cried, are we extinct? Miss Frizzle straightened her dinosaur dress and drew a deep breath. Of course we are not extinct, Keisha, the Freeze said. We had just parked near the ribcage of what looks like the Plateosaurus. That must mean we're in the Triassic period, Tim said, the earliest period of the Mesozoic era. That's the button you told me to push, remember, Ralphie? Carlos said, oh yeah. I said, not wanting to look too responsible for this field trip, just in case we never got back to the 21st century. Well, since we are back in time 225 million years, we might as well look around. Follow me, class. We're going on a Triassic field trip. The Freeze opened the bus door, slid down a rib bone to the ground. We all slid down after her. We picked our way through the dinosaur skeletons until we got to a dinosaur's skull, dino data file. The Plateosaurus was one of the first long-necked plant eaters in the Triassic period. Wow, said Carlos. Look at those teeth. Hey, Ralphie, get out your fossil. Let's see if it matches. Miss Frizzle brightened. That's right. Ralphie, you can be a dinosaur detective too. I pulled the fossil out of my backpack and held it up beside the jawbone of the Plateosaurus. The teeth were both flat, but not in the same way. The fossil isn't a Plateosaurus tooth, Miss Frizzle said, but it's a tooth from a plant eater. You can tell by its shape. From the desk of Miss Frizzle, dino dentures. It's easy to tell the tooth of a meat eater from the tooth of a plant eater. On the page to find out how. Meat eaters all had sharp, pointy teeth. Plant eaters had teeth of many different odd shapes. Phew, check out the fangs on that meat eater. Am I ever glad we are looking for a plant eater? I said, but what if a meat eater is looking for us? Phoebe asked with a quaver in her voice. Well, they wouldn't be looking for us on purpose. Humans didn't exist at the same time as the dinosaurs. Still, she picked up off the ground. Let's just be careful not to call attention to ourselves. Just then, Wanda let out a blood-curdling scream. Yikes, something slimy just landed on my head, Wanda yelled. So much for not calling attention to ourselves, Tim said under his breath. We all got quiet, thinking about what kind of slimy stuff might have landed on Wanda. Then we heard something weird that gave us a good clue. Munch, crunch, smack. It sounded like our lunchroom when everyone was eating, only 100 times louder. Miss Frizzle, I said, I think we have company. We all looked up at the tops of the tree that surrounded the dinosaur graveyard. We saw a small head with a long snout that was attached to a very long neck. Why, it's a real live Plateosaurus, Miss Frizzle cried, just like the skeletons, only with meat on its bones. Looks like about 1,500 pounds of meat to me, Carlos said. Just then the Plateosaurus drooled some of its food again. It splattered right on my cap. Ew, I yelled. Plateosaurus was one of the first dinosaurs to eat plants. The Freeze told us Triassic jungles were full of tasty treats. From the desk of Miss Frizzle, Triassic salad bar, Dorothy Ann said. She pointed to the rest of the tall trees that stood around the skeleton graveyard. There were 8 more Plateosaurus heads poking out above the treetops. We were surrounded, and worse yet, dinosaur drool started to fall on us like rain. Hey, these guys may be vegetarians, I said, but they are nasty eaters. They could squash us. Phoebe added, good point, Phoebe. The Freeze said, waving us back to the bus. I think we all zoom out of here and check out the Triassic world from the air. We piled inside the bus. The freeze told us to buckle up. Then she pulled down a switch on the Magic School Bus dashboard. There was a rumbling and shaking as the bus turned into the Magic School Bus copter. Within minutes, we were zooming straight up out of the dinosaur graveyard, but it might not have been soon enough. The Plateosaurus tried to take a mouthful of our copter as we passed by, but Miss Frizzle turned the wheel of the copter just in time and we zoomed into the sky. Chapter 4. Look down, class, Miss Frizzle said, piloting us high over the jungle. You can see what the world looked like 220 million years ago. It reminds me of my trip to Hawaii, Phoebe said. You're right, Phoebe, the freeze said. The parts of the world in the Triassic period were like a tropical jungle, like Hawaii, but other parts were like deserts. Are we flying over Hawaii right now? Carlos asked. No, we are flying over Pangaea, the freeze answered. The whole world was one giant continent in Triassic time. Today we call it Pangaea. From the death, Pangaea supercontinent. 220 million years ago, the land on Earth was one big supercontinent called the Pangaea. It had rainy jungle, inland deserts, and warm temperature. The Pangaea separated into the 7 continents we have now. We flew on until the landscape below us changed. It went from the green jungle to dry desert with only a few plants growing out of the reddish-brown earth. Below us, I spied some strange animals running down a dry riverbed. Miss Frizzle, I yelled. Look down there. The freeze and everyone else on board looked down out of the windows. They spotted the pack of yellow and green striped dinosaurs below us. They look like giant lizards, Tim said. At the sound of lizards, Liz poked her head out of Miss Frizzle's school bag. Giant, scary lizards wonder at it. Let's go down for a closer look, the freeze said. They're bringing the helicopter down for landing. Are you sure this is a good idea? Phoebe asked. Don't worry, Phoebe, the freeze said. The Quelophysis is a meat eater, but it only eats small animals. Dinosaur data file. Sometimes it eats really small animals. Dorothy Ann added, looking in her field guide. The Quelophysis even eats its own young when it's hungry enough. Gross, Keisha said. Cool, Keisha said. Carlos said, I want to see these guys in person. Carlos said, let's go. Carlos led us out of the helicopter and down into the riverbed. We could see the tracks of the Quelophysis in the damp ground. Someday, Miss Frizzle pointed out, those tracks will become fossils, and scientists will use them to learn about the Quelophysis. Miss Frizzle, Dorothy Ann called out, watch out for Liz. I think she's trying to get out of your bag, but Dorothy Ann's warning came too late. Just as the freeze turned her head to look into her bag, Liz jumped out. She scampered away down the riverbank, right in the direction that the Quelophysis had taken. Oh no, Wanda said. Why is Liz running away? I have a feeling she's gone off to meet her ancient cousin. Miss Frizzle said, what if she gets lost in Triassic times forever? There's no time to find out. We all took off, running down the riverbed. After Liz, everyone was looking for a favorite green lizard. Wait a minute. Isn't that Liz over there? I pointed to a pile of rocks near a bend in the river. Ralphie, Miss Frizzle whispered. You're right. See if you can sneak up on her and grab her. I started to protest. I wasn't sure I could make a sneak attack on Liz, but I knew the freeze was counting on me. I headed off for the rock pile. Liz was sitting perfectly still, warming herself in the sun. I tiptoed up behind her, but just as I reached out to grab her, she made a flying leap and disappeared around the bend in the riverbed. I jumped after her, but it wasn't Liz I saw round the bend. Oh no, I was looking down into the beady yellow eyes of the Coelophysis. I was so scared that I couldn't move. The dinosaur was little for a dinosaur. It came to the middle of my chest and was skinny, but I didn't like the look in its eyes. Miss Frizzle, I yelled, "Help!" Luckily for me, Liz came to the rescue. She came running, ran right over the dinosaur's spiky feet. It shifted its eyes to Liz. "What are you looking at?" Then it opened its mouth and showed 2 rows of spiky teeth. "Liz," I screamed, "watch out!" The dinosaur darted its mouth down to gobble up Liz. Just in time, Liz made a flying leap off the ground. There was only one problem. She landed on my shoulder. I had heard that dinosaurs have small brain, and I was hoping that one was on the stupid side, but I was wrong. The dino jerked its head up to find Liz. Its little yellow eyes lit up with excitement. Food. Just then I felt two hands grab hold of me. It was the fridge to the rescue. She pulled me and Liz away from Coelophysis. "Go away," the fridge said to the dinosaur, flapping her hand. "Shoo, shoo." The little dinosaur stopped. For a minute it looked hard at the freeze's red hair. Then it made a weird screeching noise. The freeze tucked Liz into her back and zipped it shut. Then she took my hand and started to run. "Back to the bus copter, class," she yelled before that guy's friends come. We all took off, running back to the magic school helicopter. I glanced back behind us. There was a mistake. I saw the pack of Coelophysis coming after us. The legs were speeding along the ground. The mouths were open, showing jaws full of sharp teeth. I suddenly became as fast as an Olympic athlete. I was the first one in the helicopter. Everybody piled in after me. The freeze was last on board. She pulled the hatch closed just as the lead Coelophysis reached us. It lifted one claw hand, left a long scratch on the hatch, right next to the window. The freeze lost no time taking off. Below us, we saw the pack of Coelophysis circling the spot where we had been. "I think we have seen enough of the Triassic period," I said, wiping the sweat from my forehead. "Me too," Miss Frizzle agreed. "Carlos, you get out my laptop. It's time to travel forward in time. We have to track down the owner of the tooth. We are headed for the Jurassic period." "What are Jurassic dinosaurs like?" Wanda asked. "Bigger, much bigger." Chapter 5. Outside the window, there was a dark swirl of air. The bus copter turned back into the magic school jet. We got to Jurassic times faster than you could say. The Pachyrhinosaurus, that's a big-nosed dinosaur. When the bus jet came to a stop, we all jumped up to look out the window. We had no idea what we would see outside. "Hey, check this out," Keisha yelled. "I see 2 white things. They look like eggs." Miss Frizzle poked her head out of the Keisha's window. "Wow," she said. "We have landed beside a nest of dinosaur eggs." "Do you think we'll see some baby dinosaurs?" Wanda asked. Just then she got her answer. There was a cracking noise from the nest. We all piled out of the bus jet to watch. A little claw that poked up out of one of the eggshells. Next came a green head. Finally, the baby dinosaur cracked open the shell and wiggled out. It stood up and took a few wobbly steps. "Look, more of them are hatching," DA said. "According to my field guide, those look like a baby Diplodocus dinosaurs." while we watched 10 baby diplodocus hatched around us. Within a minute, they were shaking off their shells and trying out their legs. Freeze let an excited Liz have a peek at the newly hatched babies. All of a sudden, I had a scary thought. What if the mother comes back? Asked Free. Well, will she get mad at us for being near her babies? That's a good point, Ralphie. The mother is probably not too far away. Miss Frizzle answered. The babies started to scramble out of the shell. Look, Miss Frizzle pointed. The babies need to find a hiding place before a predator finds them. We followed behind the baby diplodocus as they scurried off into the woods. Not far from the nest, we came across another skeleton. Freezer said it was a skeleton of an adult diplodocus. I pulled my fossil tooth out of my backpack and held it up against the diplodocus tooth. Everyone else stopped to look too. No match yet. Being a dinosaur detective took a lot of work. Phoebe, wait for us. Miss Frizzle yelled. We saw Phoebe heading into the Jurassic forest behind the babies. I think she had fallen in love with them. We ran after Phoebe, but by the time we got into the forest, she had disappeared. We all scattered, trying to find her. I ran from tree to tree, calling her name. After a while, I got so tired that I sat down against the big tree trunk. A minute later, the tree trunk moved. Then I noticed that the tree trunk had toenails. Really big toenails. Miss Frizzle, I screamed. The Freeze came running up. Oh my, Ralphie, you have found the Brachiosaurus. Does that mean giant dinosaur by any chance? I asked, looking 50 feet up into the sky at the dinosaur's head. No, its name means arm lizard, the Freeze explained, but it's one of the biggest dinosaurs that ever lived. I tried to look up into its mouth to see if my tooth was a match, but the mouth was too high up. The other kids joined us in the shade of the Brachiosaurus leg. We watched as the huge dinosaur worked its jaws back and forth. Do you think it's eaten, Phoebe? Keisha asked. Not to worry, Keisha, Miss Frizzle said. The Brachiosaurus is a plant eater. It's not interested in eating an animal like Phoebe. Hey, Carlos, I said, how do you know if there is a dinosaur in the refrigerator? How? Carlos asked. You look for footprints in the pizza. Carlos and I doubled over laughing. Everyone else groaned. Just then the Brachiosaurus took a few steps toward us to eat another tree. Get out of the way, Miss Frizzle yelled. We all scurried backward. What if it sees us? Would it try to kill us? Miss Frizzle shook her head. Not on purpose. This dinosaur is a plant eater and very peaceful. Suddenly the huge dinosaur took steps in our direction. It might be peaceful, but that much dinosaur could still be dangerous. We all ran ahead. I saw the opening of a cave. Come on, I yelled back to everybody. We'll be safe inside. We all sprinted into the cave, but we weren't alone in there, and we definitely weren't safe. The end.